Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch and the YouTube, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, and at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. It's that time of year again. We're going to talk about Wrestle Kingdom, and man, what a Wrestle Kingdom it was. It saw the debut in New Japan Professional Wrestling /Stardom of Mercedes Moné, previously known, of course, as Sasha Banks in the WWE. We saw multiple title changes, and all around, just a really fun show. I mean, we just start talking about it now, man, because we don't have any news on the day. But in terms of, we're going to talk about all the individual stuff in a bit. But I'm pretty sure we've both watched all the Wrestle Kingdoms since the 2017 one.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, man. Like, this is one I sort of watched this in the same manner as I watched Wrestle Kingdom 11 back in the day. I just I watched the pre-show live on stream, and then I went over to my couch and I just watched it there. I tweeted out a little bit. I thought this one had the same kind of buzz and energy around it as that Wrestle Kingdom 11 that we all watched for, that exposed a lot of us, I think, to New Japan back in 2017. I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I thought it had such a great pep to it. COVID, the pandemic really seemed to slow down New Japan quite a bit. And of course, the Elite going and starting AEW. Mm-hmm. But man, I thought it was a really terrific show. It wasn't like perfect. I thought there were some things that they could have done better, including giving Tam Nakano and Kyrie a lot more time.
Yes.
But otherwise, man, I thought this was a killer show.
It was a lot of fun. It really was. And there was a lot of buzz going into it. I mean, just anecdotally, we saw a lot of people in chat in the days prior asking, how can I watch Wrestle Kingdom? What do I got to do to sign up for New Japan World? And that's something we haven't seen for a couple of years. And I guess I would speculate that this being the first year in a couple of years, they can have cheering crowds at Wrestle Kingdom.
I think that was a big thing. Yeah, that was.
It
like
was
a thing,
not just in terms of the environment of the show, but it feels like, all right, New Japan kind of said to themselves, we have to go the extra mile this year. Mm-hmm. And so they had Mercedes Moné make her debut, Kenny Omega being a part of the show, doing more to get the buzz back that they had a few years back. Now I'm looking to go back to your comment about Wrestle Kingdom 11 stuff. I was looking at the card for Wrestle Kingdom 12, and that's a damn good show, too. That was Kenny and Jericho, Okada and Naito in the main event. The only thing about that one is kind of deflating because we all expected Naito to win. That was like when he was super, super over, know?
Yeah.
And he lost. It was next year that he won. But still. That was a good show, too. But yeah, 11, 12, both great shows. And yeah, this year, 17, stacked up to those shows, I would say, and we got a lot of buzz coming out of it with Kenny and Will Ospreay's match. I think everybody expected it to be good, but this wasn't the type of match I was necessarily expecting.
You didn't expect Kenny Omega to be literally ramming Will Ospreay's head, not into, but through a table and leaving a bloody mess on the bits of table there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a compelling story. And by the way, I'm sorry, the compelling first part of a story, because clearly they have a lot more planned, and I'm very excited for that. But yeah, that was a shocking match. It was a brilliant match. Whether they do it at Forbidden Door or sometime before then, I don't know.
I mean, I honestly would be surprised if this is the first part of the 3-match series, a trilogy, if you will.
I kind of feel the same way.
Based on Ospreay's booking in the match, I mean, this was the first step in seemingly turning him face. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He takes a total ass whooping from Kenny in the middle half of the bout. He is getting wrecked by Kenny.
Even his press conference leading up to it was a very, very face defiant. Kenny, he's got Don Callis with him, and calling Kenny, he is the god of wrestling, and Kenny just being completely condescending to Will Ospreay, even in his promo a couple weeks back, or months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And Ospreay talking about how much he's really broken himself to try to fill that void that Kenny left, to put New Japan on his shoulders and try to get it through pandemic and all the stuff that he had to go through versus how easy Kenny has it now with AEW. Even that sort of laid the groundwork here, and to have Kenny completely brutalize Will Ospreay in this match. But then the last part of the match is like Will Ospreay starts to make a comeback, but he's too messed up. And I love the logic of that. Yeah. I love the logic of Kenny has already done too much to him. Mm-hmm. And so this defiant comeback at the end just wasn't enough given what had already happened. Yeah. And to lead to more. No, I mean, I think that Kenny is going to go do everything he can, and Ospreay is going to do everything he can to have Ospreay truly fill that Kenny void, because that's sort of his role. And, to get to that true next level, they're basically making Ospreay a main eventer at this point, because God knows, after how many Okada Jay White matches we're going to need, they've done such a great job of rebuilding from a couple of years ago when they really needed to because of AEW, and getting Ospreay to that point, I think is sort of what they're really gunning for right now. And I think that you're right about that. And I think also too, we saw Zack Saber Jr. win his first singles title in New Japan, I believe. I know he's former tag champ. He won the first TV title there, joined up with the Mighty Don't Kneel. So they made a point throughout the show of all the former Suzuki-gun members. They're essentially faction free agents now. Where are they going to land? They're moving on. Yeah. Yeah. And during Zach's match with Ren Narita, which was really good, commentary was having that discussion about, well, which faction will Zach join? And I can't remember exactly who it was, but someone made a point of saying Zach isn't going to join a faction. He's going to lead one. Mm-hmm, yeah. And you got Shane, Haste, Mikey Nichols, two really good wrestlers. Mm-hmm, yeah. Really, really good wrestlers. And you got Zach fronting that faction now. And when he joined, they made the point of talking about their history, traveling together. It seems like in that respect a good fit. And it's going to really give Zach an opportunity to showcase what he can do. Obviously, he's a fantastic wrestler. We know, watching him for a number of years, he's a fantastic personality. But now he's finally front and center of his own group, as in a leadership position. And I think it's a huge opportunity for him to really showcase what he could do on a larger scale, on a more consistent basis. And hopefully, it's prelude to a much more significant push for him down the line. In my opinion, he should have been a main eventer by now. But I do think that this, given his first singles title win with the TV title, which, by the way, my God, what a beautiful title! This thing, it's so ugly, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's got that orange leather, that worn orange tan leather. Yeah. It's got new NJPW world.com in 3 different, like on the top and on the sides. It's like an old TV, so it fits perfectly. It's like a cathode tube TV. Yeah. Like the only thing it's missing is some dials. It needs some antennas, some rabbit ears that come out of the top of the tiles that you can actually pull up. Sort of like, maneuver. Dink around with them. Exactly. Make sure you get that reception there so you can watch some Family Feud. Exactly. So, or you put the aluminum foil on there to get a little bit better reception. My family never resorted to that. I don't think the only place I ever saw that I think was like in TV shows or movies. So I don't know if that was like a predated us. Or just a TV/movie convention that never really applied to real life. No, you think that nobody ever actually did that? That'd be nuts. I don't know. Let's talk more about Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, her debut. Of course, this has been reported for weeks. And on commentary, they made reference. One of the worst kept secrets in recent wrestling history. Yeah. But I mean, whether they wanted that news getting out or not, it worked to their benefit because, again, anecdotally, a lot of people were curious how to watch the show. To see if Mercedes was going to show up. And, yes, Kyrie versus Tam was probably about half the length the match should have been. At the minimum, it should have been at least 12 minutes. What we got in 6 minutes was great. I just wanted to see a lot more. Yeah, that's the problem. It's like we want to see. It's like it's only 6 minutes. What we saw was great. I want more because it was so good. Yeah, I don't think that was their goal. Even wanting more. No, I think they were just like, we need more time for Mercedes.
Yeah.
To cut a thing. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just do more match, because my God, those spinning back fists alone from Kyrie.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I can watch the 6 minutes of those. So after Kyrie beats Tam, lights go down, video package plays on the Tron. We hear a theme that's kind of reminiscent of Criss Cross's Jump.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mercedes walks down to the ring. She shakes hands with Kyrie, hits a new move, which is like a gory bomb into a DDT type deal.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was something different. It was neat.
I thought at first it was going to be a gory bomb into like a weird like arm submission, and then she let go of it. I was like, oh wait, no, that was like a power move. Holy shit, what was that?
And then she issues a challenge at Battle in the Valley, I believe. It's February 18th in San Jose, California, for the IWGP Women's title.
Dude, I wish I was like trying to do fucking mental gymnastics trying to figure out, but it's the same day as Elimination Chamber and it's the same day as Action Coast Wrestling.
Hot stuff.
Like, oh man.
Just like in December, there was one day where everything was happening. It was December 10th. Same in February, apparently.
I know. But no, it was terrific. I loved the visual presentation of Mercedes. How her hair. I've never ever seen a hair dye job accomplish this, but it looks like it's phasing. What it is, it's phasing into her new look from her old look, because it's like blue, but it looks like she's phasing into like blonde or whatever the color is.
Yeah,
but it does it in a way that it looks like it's like a chemical like change as you're looking at it. It's nuts. It looked amazing. It looked great.
Yeah. It was. I've never seen anything like that. It was spectacular.
Yeah. But yeah, and then she dropped her promo. She held up the title, and yeah, it was a big deal. So yeah, I mean, the idea is, hey, let's get a lot, because obviously she comes with a pretty expensive booking fee. And the current rumor is she is going to be Saraya's partner in AEW. I have no idea if that's true or not, and even the rumors that are out there suggest that nobody actually knows. This isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, she's been confirmed that she's going to be there,
or it's one of those things that maybe is kind of leaking to get people talking about it, so people will tune in.
Yeah.
It's not even something like that. Like, apparently I know Fightful had a thing recently about it, and
Fightful's thing was mainly like the roster kind of feels like it's going to be, but nobody knows.
Yeah, but nobody's saying one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess we can jump right into it.
Well, let's talk about.
Sorry,
we haven't talked about the main event yet, have we? Though.
No, we haven't. No.
So Okada it's what it's kind of reminiscent of. It's like when Triple H and Jericho had to follow Hogan Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, it was built as a double main event. Kenny and Ospreay, they were part of the main event. But of course, you're going to have, who's going to lead New Japan into the next 50 years. Inoki passed this past year, and it was their 50th anniversary. So this is like a really big deal. Like, they had Okada doing like the Inoki stance during the promotional stuff. And Jay White, the current title holder, trying to keep that title and lead Bullet Club. The Bullet Club era will be the new era of New Japan. And obviously these dudes, they know each other inside and out, and that's what this match was all about. Okada hit towards the finish Jay White. As Jay White tried to go for a Rainmaker, Okada was able to counter that into a Blade Runner, which I thought was a really great spot. Okada, of course, got the win here, because they're basically trying to say he has Rawgated himself. He is Rawgate Mutant of Antonio Inoki.
Yeah. With that kind of narrative going into the show, it was pretty evident that Okada, he is the guy. He's the ace of New Japan right now. It makes all the sense in the world to have him get the win. There was a period where, and it seems like we may have moved on from that period in this particular booking philosophy by Gato, where I think we last saw it when Naito challenged Okada at 12, where we thought, oh, this Naito is like the hottest thing in professional wrestling. He's super over. That was right before, his run with the IC title, when he was throwing it around. He was super over. And we all thought, this is his moment to beat Okada for the title, finally. Yeah. And it didn't happen. Yeah, he had to wait for that moment. Where usually, not all the time, but usually there's a stretch of like 4, 5, 6 years where the champ walked into Wrestle Kingdom, more often than not, the champ retained.
Yeah, right.
It was all about, I'm solidifying my spot, my position at the top at Wrestle Kingdom, rather than a coronation, you know. And I was kind of wondering if they would go back to that philosophy a bit to really solidify Jay White as a top guy, because Jay White beats Okada on a regular basis, except when the title's involved in a one-on-one match. That's the one time Okada's beat him, was at the Madison Square Garden show for the title. You have Jay White get the win here. All right, top guy. You know, he's the guy that's going to carry us in the future. But with the Inoki story, you know, no, it's Okada.
Also, it's not like Okada. It's not like Okada's old or anything.
He's in his early 30s still.
He just got to start like really young. I mean, as did Jay White. So I mean, clearly, look, and that's what we talked about this a little bit in the pre-show. And by the way, I do have to change Okada up there. It's Jay White still, but you know, knife pervert gets one last shot here on Going in Raw.
There we go.
Banner. But yeah, I mean, given the historic nature of the 50th anniversary, Inoki passing, all that kind of stuff, this made so much more sense. And that I love that little moment at the end after Okada got they put the belt on him. Jay White literally climbs. I mean, talk about a visual metaphor. He literally climbs Okada and just gets in his face. And like, there was nothing audibly heard from what he said. If he said something, he muttered it and we didn't hear it. But
they did exchange some words. Yeah.
The body language was clear. I'm not going anywhere. You're not the only person leading this company into the next era. It's you and me both, buddy. You got to get used to it. And then he slinks away basically.
Yeah, Gato has to help him out of the out of the ringside area.
Yeah, and the camera focuses on Jay White walking away with Gato, and it's like, okay, well, he's going to be back. Like, he ain't going nowhere. You're not getting rid of me anytime, pal.
And it was interesting, the timing of Shingo coming to the ring, because usually at these Wrestle Kingdom shows or someone wins the title, they get to drop their promo and then someone interrupts.
Yeah.
Okada didn't get to say anything before Shingo's in the ring.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not even like he gets a moment to kind of bask in the win. He's got to worry about Jay White still. Here's Shingo already stepping up, issuing a challenge for the title.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which is, if they're kind of building around Okada, Jay White, and Shingo, it's not a bad way to go.
No, it's not. I mean, Shingo, I don't know about look, Shingo's he's an amazing wrestler, but he's just the first to line up. You know, I mean, it's like when Kenta did the same thing a couple years ago. And where was both Kenta and Shingo?
But I think the difference between Kenta and Shingo is Shingo's had a run with the title. I know the KOPW thing was a comedy thing for a stretch. When he had it, he was coming up with these crazy stipulations that weren't necessarily all comedy matches. I know, like the dog cage one with Suzuki kind of was, but the one where he and Taichi had you get as many falls as you can in 10 minutes, and literally each count is a point. Like, I was like, that's really interesting, and the way they booked it was really compelling stuff, and it didn't rely on comedy at all.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to take a while, especially with now they got the actual title for the KOPW thing, for it to not maybe be seen so much as a comedy thing based on how they booked it before.
But how they booked it last night too.
Yeah, I know, but it was entertaining still.
Dude, the title has Velcro on it. None of the other titles do, by the way. This title has Velcro on it, and it's it's a bright blue.
It's a powder blue. This is good color powder blue. But anyways, if you want to like bring some sense of seriousness to the KOPW thing, you have Shingo with it. You have a guy speed walk down to the ramp. That's the Rambo, though, man.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's the king of pro wrestling, though. It's a comedy thing. I'll believe that's not going to be a comedy thing when I see it. But yeah, I don't know. It is kind of surprising to me. And again, look, we got to clarify too. We watch New Japan every once in a while, so this is going to be from that perspective. We are not experts. We track New Japan and what goes on with it.
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of videos on the road to Wrestle Kingdom stuff yesterday. But you know, when we talk about this throughout the episode today, just remember, we don't know what we're talking about.
We're not that well versed in a lot of the stories they've been telling the last year.
So that's all prelude to me saying this. It is kind of surprising that Naito now is sort of, you know, I know, look, Naito is always sort of a perpetual guy you can always put in the main event, right? But in terms of the future, Shingo clearly. Are you kind of surprised that like Sonata hasn't taken more of it? Like we've been waiting years, and we're like, oh, this is Sonata's year. This is going to be Sonata's year.
Because he was in a program with Okada when Okada was champ a couple years back, and he had this great interview. Like they did sit-down interviews with him, and they were phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal stuff. And it seemed like at that moment he's going to turn a corner. Mm-hmm. They've cracked him from a character perspective. They know how to showcase his personality.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he lost to Okada, and he's kind of in the same spot that he was 6 years ago, more or less.
Yeah.
It's always a situation with him. When is he going to break through to the main event? When is he going to break through the main event? That's been his story forever. So, I mean, at a certain point, you got to think, well, is he ever going to break through? Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem like it. Mm-hmm. Is he going to be like the next Goto? Someone who always kind of dabbles. I mean, Goto, you had more experience kind of breaking into the main event scene than Sonata has.
Yeah.
If you go back years ago.
Did you hear them talking about, because, it was LAJ versus Team Muda last night. And did you hear commentary talking about Sonata, how like he was, training under Muda and he went on an excursion. He came back to, I think it was All Japan. And Muda was like, yeah, you didn't learn enough. I was like, damn. And then Sonata took it upon himself to, do more, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just perpetually going to be his thing. You're not doing enough.
Maybe that's the story. I don't know. I mean, because he's gotten outpaced by Naito, obviously, by Shingo, even by Hiromu.
Oh yeah, he's like he's the freaking ace of the juniors now.
Hell, even Evil. I know Evil's not an LIJ anymore, but he's a former world champion somehow.
Also more appropriately, first guy to get eliminated from the Rambo last night.
Yes. Which is Evil's current lot. Yes.
Let's dive into it now that we've talked about that main event stuff. So it kicked off, the pre-show kicked off with Bolton Oleg, which is, god damn it, a great name. Oh really man, and this guy, I have no idea. I'm assuming he's like a young lion / strong young lion guy. I don't know. Bolton Oleg.
No, he's a former Olympian. I believe he was a former amateur wrestler.
Okay, well, is the idea that he's part of Strong? Is Karen's in chat? Karen, have you seen Bolton Oleg at Strong or something? What is this guy's deal? He took on young lion Ryohei Oiwa in a 3-minute exhibition match. So it was just 3 minutes.
So I guess he wasn't. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was saying, apparently Oleg was a former. He finished 5th in the 2002 World Championships, but I guess he was an Olympian.
Okay, 2002.
Yeah.
So he's old.
Sorry, 2022. Sorry, my bad.
I was so confused. I was like, it's like you or me. All right, it's how to become young lions, Larson. By the way, so Karen says he's a highly decorated All-Asia champion. Team New Japan professional wrestler, amateur wrestler. Okay, cool. Coached by Yuji Nagata. All right, is he going to be a professional wrestler? Is that his final destination? Do we know?
I think so. I guess that's the idea.
All
I
right,
mean, he looks like he's a pretty good athlite.
All right. No, he's terrific. He's great. He's a freaking Olympian. What was I going to say? I was going to just say this about this match. Oh, almost qualified for the Olympics, but turned pro. Thank you, Karen. If you and I ever have, if we ever turn on each other as part of this Action Coast Wrestling,
3-minute exhibition.
3-minute exhibition. Yes. Maybe even 90-second exhibition.
Yeah.
We'll just walk around each other, lock up, ring the bell.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Done. We got it.
Build the tension for about 90 seconds. Lock up, bell rings.
Confuse the crowd.
I mean, this was 3 minutes of like amateur wrestling, then like 3 pro wrestling moves. Bolton hits a body slam, covers, gets a 2, time runs out.
Right, yeah.
That's what the match was.
Yeah. Then we had the New Japan Rambo. The last 4 participants in this match then get to fight, I think tonight, for the who gets to be the first provisional Kazuchika Okada Pro Wrestling Champion.
Yep, that New Year's Dash, yes.
So so this basically the first big chunk of this is Hikuleu, who's like 8.5 feet tall, just chucking everybody over the top rope, just destroying everybody. I like that they're giving this big man finally some shine. Mm-hmm. But lots of House of Torture in this match, of course. Everybody from House of Torture was in this. It basically ended up with like LP and Shingo on the apron. And that was before that. It was still like Yano came down but didn't even get into the match. The same thing he did last year.
Yeah.
So he was one of the last four. Sho, Shingo, and LP. And I don't know what Great O'Khan was doing during this.
I think he was kind of on the outside.
Okay. So Sho, Shingo, and LP were all sort of mixing up because Shingo and LP were on the apron, and Sho kept on trying to run at Shingo to knock him up, but Shingo kept on like getting out of the way and almost hitting LP. Yeah. Well, Sho doesn't learn because he's House of Torture, and then it eventually ends up knocking off.
Well, it's because LP literally waves at Sho to come knock Shingo off.
Yeah.
He's got like LP's got Shingo in a position where it's like, okay, he should be able to be knocked off easily. So he waves at Sho to come and knock him off. And of course, Shingo just pulls LP in front of Sho, and LP goes flying off the apron.
Right? Yeah. So we end up with Sho, Yano, Shingo, and Great O'Khan as the final four. But of course, Great O'Khan, he's going to walk in as the provisional champion because he just took the title.
Well, then he chucked it. He threw it aside.
Oh, did he do it at the end? I thought he kept it with him. Okay.
No, he held it and then he threw it on the ground.
Oh, I thought I saw him leave with it on the.
He has his own belt. He has the Rev Pro UK
but
title.
I swear I thought him like did he do that like after he left like the barricade area, like the ringside area?
I don't remember exactly when.
There's
that shot where he's sitting on the ground, he's holding it, and I thought he just kind of tossed it aside after that.
All right. So anyways, after that, we had, this was like an Antonio Inoki tribute match type thing, where it was Yuji Nagata, Kojima, and Makabe versus Minoru Suzuki, Tiger Mask, and Fujinami. And this was great because there's just a bunch of old dudes beating each other up, man. There's just a bunch of strong style dudes just beating each other up. They're deep into their 50s, everybody, and just going at it. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. The end, Makabe blocks a roll-up attempt from Tiger Mask, and then just kind of lays on Tiger Mask to get the win.
Yeah. Which is kind of the definition of a pin, but at the same time, this was literally he just sort of laid on him.
Just kind of laid on him. Yeah, blocked a roll up by laying on him. Then we got the main card opening up with the junior heavyweight tag title match. Yo and Lio Rush taking on Francisco Akira and TJP. This match was a lot of fun.
Man,
you put Lio Rush in the ring, you're gonna get a fun match.
Any match with Lio Rush,
he got busted open. He was bleeding all over the place.
Dude, they did that move. What was the move on the ramp that they got him with? That it looked like this is why he got busted open. But they
said that's why it was. Yeah.
And he just like one half of his face was just covered in blood. This was so much fun here.
As expected, United Empire retained here. But the finishing sequence was fantastic. So you got Lio and Yo hitting their finish. TJP hits Yo with a splash off the top, follows a detonation kick, and Yo kicks out of that. So United Empire is looking for the Leaning Tower, which I guess is their finish. Yo reverses that into a poisoned Rana on TJP. Lio then hits Akira with a Spanish Fly. Lio and Yo hit their finish. Akira pushes Yo into Lio to break up that pin. So then Lio hits Akira with Rush Hour, the kind of springboard stunner off the bottom rope. Akira rolls out of the ring. Lio Rush follows him. So Yo is going for his finish on TJP, and TJP just rolls him up to get the win.
Gee whiz. I'm looking at Lio Rush's face here because he posted a picture.
Oh, yeah?
And man, he is he's got a big old bandage on his upper lip. He's got his whole eyebrow. Yeah, he's busted up. But that was a hell of a visual, man. Lio Rush, all these dudes are great, but Lio Rush, man, you see him in the ring, he's just special.
Yeah. Yep.
After that, we had Tam Nakano versus Kairi for the IWGP Women's title. It's a bummer they only gave this 6 minutes, man. At least give them 12.
I know, at least.
I understand that this is primarily defended in Stardom, but it's part of the IWGP family of titles. It should be given, number one, a spot on the card. I actually understand the placement because they don't want people to tune out before Mercedes shows up. They think, so you do it earlier in the card, fine. But give it 12 minutes. Give it some time. I was actually pretty shocked. When it was 6 minutes and then it was done. I was like, wait, Insane Elbow, is she gonna kick out of the Insane Elbow? That's crazy. And then no, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That was a bummer.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. They only gave us 6 minutes. But the 6 minutes we got was really good.
Was fantastic. It was great.
Really good. We saw Tam hit Kairi with a Steiner screwdriver.
Yeah.
That move always blows my mind when someone does it.
No, it's awesome. It's
fantastic. Kairi ends up hitting a pair of back fists, insane elbow to get the win. And as mentioned earlier, she holds up the title, lights come down. Mercedes Moné makes her way to the ring. Kairi steps.
Real quick, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Karen says that this is so it's a New Japan Championship. They use Stardom talent to help promote it. Do they actually? I'm asking this to Karen. Do they defend it in Stardom, or is it exclusively defended on New Japan shows? I guess it's exclusively defended on New Japan shows.
I think so.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
I think so. So Mercedes walks to the ring. They shake hands. Mercedes hits that gory bomb DDT type move, picks up the title, drops it on Kairi, calls to the mic, and she says, I know a thing or two about making history, and I'm in New Japan and Stardom to make more. She calls herself the CEO of the women's division and tells Kairi to enjoy your title while you can, because at Battle in the Valley, I'm going to bankrupt you.
Yeah, and she said, bitch. She says that she leaned into that too. I thought this was really cool. This is a good moment. After that, we had what's her tag team? The Bishamon?
Yeah, something like that.
Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus FTR. Man, sad last days of FTR, dude.
Yeah, coming back to the revival.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man. This was, look, this is a great match. This is a great team. Karen says, so this is the first defense in New Japan for the IWGP Women's title. She says it'll maybe be defended in Stardom in the future, but not yet. Gotcha. Okay. I mean, if they're saying that the Battle of the Valley, that's a New Japan show.
Yeah, that's true.
There's some evidence to suggest maybe it's going to be between Strong and, New Japan has plenty of shows to go around. So, yeah. Anyways. FTR loses this. They're going for a big rig on Yoshihashi. He escapes that. Goto knocks Dax out of the ring, follows with a clothesline to Dax's head, and then Goto and Yoshihashi hit Dax with their finisher for the win. Bishamon picks up the win. Are they what is it, two-time IWGP?
I believe two-time tag champs.
Yeah, that's cool for them. I don't know, man. I was like, obviously I would have had I would have picked Bishamon here with probably plenty of confidence points. Yeah. But I thought this was also a decent test for us to think, okay, well maybe they had plans to stick around in Japan if they had won this.
Oh, gotcha.
But it kind of seems clear that what was it that he said? We had planned on maybe doing some wrestling off TV.
Yeah,
for a while.
Dax said something to the effect of, when our contracts expired, they had talked about taking a year and doing non-wrestling, non-televised wrestling.
Non-televised wrestling.
Wrestling independent dates is doing kind of what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if WWE is saying here, it's Triple H saying, we'll bring you in and book you right.
Then what's FTR going to say, Larson?
They're going to say, yeah, especially if there's a nice dollar figure attached to that deal.
All day, all night.
Say, yeah, because, I know FTR is a Triple Crown tag champ at WWE. I think them and the New Day are the only two teams to do it. And their run in NXT was fantastic. And there was some highlights in their run in the main roster. There was a lot of lowlights for Revival's run in main roster, too, and that was one of the reasons they left, because they felt like not just themselves, but the tag division as a whole wasn't being given the respect it deserved.
For sure, yeah.
They've had this run to AEW. They've won titles everywhere.
Yeah.
The one place they have to go to really cement their legacy as one of the best teams ever is to go back to WWE and have a run that holds up to the run they just had.
Yeah, I think you and I had said this in the middle of this past year. When they had accomplished everything, it's like they had already been AEW champions, and then they were doing the Ultimo Dragon stuff where you have all the titles. It's like, what really is left to do? I guess a year of non-televised wrestling is all they've got left to do.
I mean, if they want to go to other places around the world, around America, wherever, and just pick up tag titles,
yeah.
I mean, I could see how that might be interesting and fulfilling for them if they went to PWG and win the tag titles there. Or name any of the various wrestling promotions here in the States or around the world. They can go and win tag titles. That'd be neat.
At the same time, they're also, well, at least one of them, Dax, is a family guy.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. At a certain point, you're just sort of looking for stability.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, part of that is, hey, I can be at home as long as I want. I can get a decent payday from this prominent indie, and then we can go do that. I can come back home for 2 weeks or for 3 weeks or whatever. You're not on the WWE schedule. So the non-televised wrestling thing, you can totally do that. But if you're looking to secure, your future for a long, long time, you get that WWE bag now. You can do the non-televised stuff as much as you want after your 2, 3, 4 year contract with them.
So yeah,
and your family is set for life, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
So it'll be interesting. I personally feel like they're probably going to end up back in WWE. I don't know if that'd be a hell of a Raw after Mania debut. I mean, I would think that the tag title situation would probably be so locked up into like at WrestleMania, that they wouldn't be able to do that. But
it also depends when their contracts are up. We just heard April, and I don't know
said April, so I don't know if it's April 1 or April 30th or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good point.
So I mean, it would be interesting if they kind of pulled a Hardy return and had them be mystery opponents for. Maybe they don't want to do Sammy and Kevin Owens versus the Usos at Mania. They kind of have open challenge for the Usos. Say yeah,
Honestly, man, I feel like. Yeah, I mean that's a WWE conversation at this point. But yeah, I'd actually might prefer seeing Sammy versus Kevin. If he views Kevin as the reason why he got kicked out of Bloodline.
Yeah,
give them 25 minutes at WrestleMania. Oh my God, that'd be nuts.
I know. That'd be something else.
Be something else. Something to talk about for another day. After that, we had Ren Narita versus Zack Saber Jr. in the finals for the beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, just absolutely immaculate.
Steve's new favorite belt.
It is absolutely. The New Japan Pro Wrestling TV title, which I think is the official title. I don't think this isn't an IWGP TV title. It's a New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV title or whatever. I think.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I think there's a difference there. Let me double check. Hold on. Let's see here. Zack Saber Jr. Oh no. Okay. According to Bleacher Report, it's IWGP.
Yeah, I think that's the governing body of all their championships.
Yeah, I know, but what does that really mean?
Sounds cool.
It does sound really cool. Should Action Coast Wrestling then have a governing body?
Sure.
For our championship? Should we just call it something different then? Was it the International Wrestling Grand Prix? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What about the Sacramento Wrestling Grand Prix?
Or the Northern California Wrestling Grand Prix?
NAWGP?
We'll figure something out.
NCWGP. Yeah. People might think it's North Carolina, though.
Or Northern California Wrestling Alliance.
NCWA?
I don't know. Just throwing stuff out there.
This is a hell of a match.
This is really good.
Pro wrestling at its finest, Larson.
Yes. It was Ren Narita who took on Shibata. Was it like a year ago? Was that last year at Wrestle Kingdom he had the match against Shibata?
You're asking the wrong guy, dude.
Because there's literally a True World Order's got it. Sacramento Wrestling Office. The wrestling office is the governing body. What am I thinking? Yes, it was. It was Shibata and Ren Narita last year. There's a lot of Shibata's approach that Ren Narita brings to the ring.
Yeah, right.
Which is probably why he wrestled them last year. I mean, even the bit where he sat down like Shibata in the middle of the ring and told Zack Saber Jr., "Kick me in the back."
Yeah.
There is a lot of Shibata there in Ren Narita. So we got a technical wrestling bout here.
Well, they're both trying to impress Dad because Dad was sitting there, either doing commentary or just sitting there ringside watching, their pupils go at it. And then even at the end when Zack Saber Jr. won, tapped out Ren Narita in pretty quick fashion. This is really good stuff.
He's working over his arm.
Yeah, so Ren looks for a Cobra twist, transitions to a knee bar. Zack Saber Jr. reverses that into an arm bar, and immediately Ren Narita taps out. I love that finish. That was great.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, because
go ahead.
I would say Zack was working over Ren's arm repeatedly throughout the match.
Yeah.
Doesn't get that point. Anyways, continue.
So then Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols, TMDK, come to the ring. TM61 in NXT.
Yes.
They got their TMDK shirts on. And so I'm thinking, oh man, they're going to do the shirt recruitment.
Yeah.
And they show it up. And, like, there is no tension here. Like, Zack Saber Jr. kind of fake like he was throwing it, but he was laughing the whole time. Like, oh, this is all a big game. And I was waiting for him to, like, turn on them or something. Nope, he put it right on. They do a big old hug. Oh, he ticket on para TMDK. And so he puts the title on him, and then when he gets out, the title just falls off because he's so thin. And then they just sit on the apron, and they make sure they're all nice and tight together for a picture, and they take a nice picture, and then he goes and he bows before Shibata, who's ringside, and then they go on their merry way. So he's with his friends.
That's great.
And he called for Rishi Sunak to give nurses a living wage, which I thought was awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Nurses should earn a living wage, man.
Heck yeah. Next up, we got the never open weight title bout between Tama Tonga and Machine Gun Karl Anderson.
Dude, this should have been like a King of Pro Wrestling match. Because Karl Anderson was laughing his way through it, wearing his WWE OC merch shirt throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, it was like a house show for Karl Anderson.
It really was. And so at the very beginning of the match, he basically just annihilates Tama Tonga because they're sort of talking, and that's right, he takes the title and he completely annihilates Tama Tonga with it, and then he starts bullying the ref. He's like, ring the bell. He goes out there, he hits Tama Tonga with like a pile driver on the ramp. He gives him a fucking a fisherman buster on the barricade, and then takes him to the ramp, hits him with the driver, and then he leaves him there. And he's going to get counted out, and Karl Anderson's like, wait, no. I want to hit him with a gun stun. I'm going to go do that. Nope. Missed the gun stun.
Tama Tonga just chucks Karl Anderson.
Yeah, right onto the ramp. Right onto the
foot of the ramp.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. So the match gets back in the ring. Eventually, Tama Tonga gets the advantage. They're up on the top rope. Tama fights off Karl Anderson, hits a splash, hits another one, gets a 2 with that. So then Tama's looking for a gun stun. Karl blocks it. Karl's looking for a gun stun. Tama Tonga blocks that. Tama hits some strikes, a springboard gun stun off the second rope, and then follows with another gun stun for the win.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just like simple stories, man. I'm a simple man, you know that. Bit of a dullard. And so when the story is simply, I'm going to get this guy counted out, and then it transitions to who can hit this move first.
Yeah,
I'm very happy. I'm on the edge of my seat. Oh, gun stun.
Who's gonna get that? Who's gonna get that gun stun?
Is that a gun stun? No.
Ooh. Yeah.
So that's like my favorite name of a move. I think is probably gun stun.
Gun stun.
That's great because it's not a stun gun. It's a gun stun.
It's the opposite. They switch them around. Next we got Lij. It was Naito. It was Sonata. It was Bushi. Taking on Shooter. Hiroshi Tanahashi. And Great Muda.
It's a great Muda. Yeah. Why is nobody talking about what this dude said after his Shinsuke Nakamura match?
I don't know. It was shocking. It was awful.
Like I saw all sorts of people on Twitter. Being like, "Oh man, this guy. They should bring him in for like the Royal Rumble. This guy. Oh, his career is so great. They should do this with him. They should do that with him." I'm like, "Did you hear what this guy said?"
Don't bring him in.
Don't bring him in. Don't give him a mic. Anyway, Shooter gets the win here over Bushi with the Death Rider. Sounds like from what commentary was saying, man, they're going to push this guy to the moon.
It's back from excursion, man.
Yeah, dude. Now it's time.
Bushi ate everybody's finish, basically. Tanahashi gave him a sling blade rather than a high fly flow, but otherwise it was like bang, bang, bang. Shooter hits a Death Rider, gets the W for his team. But yeah, he's back from excursion. He's jacked, ready for a massive push.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's awesome. Bring Moxley back a little bit in New Japan, maybe. I don't know if they're going to do a whole Forbidden Door thing.
Oh, they got to have a match.
I'd like to see it. I'd love to see that either as a reunion, a tag. I don't care what it is, man. They're a lot of fun. If you want to know what he said, just look it up. You don't have to ask in chat, everybody. Anyways, so yeah. Anyways, after that we had Fatal 4-Way for the junior heavyweight title. The Ticking Time Bomb, Hiromu Takahashi, Master Wato, El Desperado, and Ishimori, the Bone Soldier. They did like a little preview video of this that I watched on the stream last night, and it was great because they were making, of course, Takahashi Desperado and Ishimori. They were giving all this badass, like, backgrounds and stuff because they're all crazy and cool and stuff. And then Master Wada, he was just riding his bike along the river.
Yeah.
It was very nice, very
but
lovely.
This was a great spotlight for Wado to show what he can do. I thought, especially
midway through this match, I thought he was going to win the thing.
Same. He was hitting this finish on everybody.
Yeah.
Well, except for Takahashi. If Takahashi hadn't blocked it and Wado would have hit it, Wado would be your junior heavyweight champion right now.
Yeah.
That's really what it came down to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the second half of the match, he was laying into everybody. He hits his finish first on Desperado, and then Ishimori pulls the ref out of the ring. So it's a ref bump. So then Ishimori brings a chair in, blasts Wado with it, brings the ref back into the ring, looking for a bloody cross. Well, Wado escapes that, hits his finish on Ishimori, covers. Hiromu breaks up that pin. So Wado hits a huge high-angle German suplex on Tanahashi. It looked like Tanahashi landed right at his neck.
Yeesh.
Takahashi. Takahashi kicks out of that. Hiromu kicks out. Wado's looking for his finish on Hiromu. Hiromu blocks it. And Wado's looking for some leg scissors, like a leg scissor takedown. Hiromu blocks that and hits Time Bomb 2 to get the win.
Yeah.
It was a really fun finish.
This was stellar stuff. What's up? We've got 610 people watching us on the YouTube. Do us a huge favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's see here. Then we had Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. I love that you put here, right here in the notes. Match of the year 2023. It's going to take something really special to knock this off.
It set a very high bar.
4 days into the new year. I mean, that's typical of Wrestle Kingdom. You can always expect at least one candidate here for match of the year. Last year it was Okada Ospreay, I think, was the one that everybody was looking at. This year, I'm all on board with Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay because, man, oh man, Kenny Omega was absolutely relentless, absolutely destroying Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
That whole the table spot. And then what they did with the table afterwards. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So we've seen Kenny do the double stomp into the table before, and I think even put a hole through it. But to have him do that, and then later on, after he DDTs Will on the top rope with the turnbuckle exposed and busts Will open, and starts ramming his head into the table and putting holes in the table with his blood splattering everywhere.
That's when I realized it was match of the year. Jimmy Thomas here mentions in our Twitch chat, it's the match of the year till Triple Mania. This is what I wanted. This is what we got from Viano 4 in LA Park last year. That's why it was our match of the year, or one of them.
Yes.
But when he started ramming his head and making a hole in the table with his head, and there was just like blood marks all over,
it was great.
This is like next level now. This is insane. This just went. It was like the perfectly crafted, just brutalizing of Will Ospreay, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, like character wise, with Will Ospreay. This one, I did not watch the post conference with Will Ospreay. I don't know what he said.
I haven't either.
But man, oh man, like to come back from this, he's top of the world, United States champion in the co-main event. He's built this amazing faction. Like the United Empire came from 3 guys, and now it's 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's this huge, very popular, very successful faction. And then he just gets absolutely embarrassed, annihilate. A DDT on the top turnbuckle? What the hell? With the exposed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So after all that, Kenny's yelling at Will, stay down. Hits a V trigger. Hits another one. He's yelling at him, stay down. So he looks for a third. Will catches it. Kenny's hitting some punches, and Will starts hulking out. And Kenny's laughing at him.
Yeah.
He is openly mocking him for hulking out.
Yeah.
So Kenny hits some punches, and then Will just starts hitting quad kicks and chops.
And those punches that Kenny's firing, they're almost, again, they're kind of mocking punches. He's whoop-ha, whoop-ha, whoop-ha.
Yeah. Kenny, he feels like he has this match totally in control because everything you watch before that makes you feel like it's going to take one more shot and Will's done. So Will's hitting some quad kicks, some chops. Kenny responds with a V trigger. Will hits him with the power bomb. Kenny kicks out of that. So then Will starts putting some offense together. He hits a forearm to Kenny's back, hits a pair of hidden blades, a super os cutter, covers, gets a 2. So Will is looking for a Stormbreaker, and Kenny escapes that. Looks for a one-winged angel. Will reverses that into a roll-up, gets a 2 count, hits a Styles Clash on Kenny. He takes off. Will takes off his elbow pad, destroys Kenny right in the face with a hidden blade. Kenny kicks out. So Will's looking for another Stormbreaker. Kenny lands on his feet, hits a V trigger, maintains wrist control. Will hits another hidden blade. They both fall. Kenny still got Will's wrist. They get up. Kenny still has wrist control. They're trading forearms. Will ends up getting the better of it. Kenny, though, hits the straight jacket suplex. That gets him a 2. He's still holding on to Will's wrist, both of them. He gets him up, and we all know it's coming. It's Kamagoye, Kotabushi's finish.
Yeah.
So Will spits in Kenny's face. Kenny hits the Kamagoye, follows with the one-winged angel for the win. Earlier in the match was this great spot where Kenny's on the top rope, and Will, we're so used to seeing him get, bound up the ropes effortlessly. He is out of it, and he can't even get up the top rope. And the way he sold this was really effective. It was fantastic. It was a great match. Fantastic stuff.
No, it was absolutely a beautiful match. Kenny's entrance, that was another thing I meant to mention too, is that, and I honestly don't remember it being like the way they filmed the Tokyo Dome this year. It seems so much bigger. And some of it might have been like, the crowd situation now, like basically
the stage itself felt larger,
right? Like it felt like they kept on going back to see the entire Tron. Unfortunately, I had a bunch of trusses with all the lights and stuff. So like you couldn't get a clean shot of it, but everything looked bigger this year. And I don't know if they were going to a different lens, different cameras, or if they just actually made the stage a lot bigger, but it really felt huge this year.
It really did. It really did. There's a lot of great spots in the match, even early on where Kenny's looking for a Hurricane Rana. Will lands on his feet and then hits a Hurricane Rana of his own. There's a little bit of one-upsmanship early on.
Yeah, right.
Kenny was going for the Dragon Suplex, or the Snapdragon off the top. Will lands on his feet. But for the whole middle stretch of the match, Kenny was just annihilating Ospreay. Just destroying him.
Yeah. So if they do another Forbidden Door, it's probably not going to be until June. Unless they're going to unless they would do 2 a year. I don't know. I mean, there's no indication. Did he say they wanted to do 2? I think it's just one.
There was talk about maybe trying to do another one. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that was just us speculating or not. But yeah, I would suspect, all things being equal, they're going to do another Forbidden Door. And maybe that'll be the culmination, and maybe they'll do something between now and then, because if they wait till June to do that, obviously that's 6 months. You probably want to get something in between now and then. But I guess, well, I don't know. Revolution's in early March? It's 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Sort of the midway point. Maybe they'll bring in Ospreay for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we had our main event, Kazuchika Okada versus Jay White. What did you make of Okada's all black ring gear? He had the amazing
the iridescent
dollar robe. Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was fantastic.
But then he disrobes. And it's nothing. Was it? Do you think that was sort of paying respects to Antonio Inoki? Typically you wear black to pay respects. I don't know if it was that, or if there was, maybe Karen knows there's some sort of greater in-depth meaning to it.
I don't know. I mean, usually last year I think his color scheme was like black and red. I think
it's usually much more accented. Regardless of what the color scheme is. This was like all black.
And commentary made a point of pointing that out, in contrast to Jay White, who had the white pants with the red highlights on them.
Okay, so Karen says, yeah, so Inoki also wore all black. I didn't know if that was his standard thing. Okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
They basically made him the next Inoki here.
Yeah, virtually.
How many shots in the video package leading to this was like a Sears portrait of like Inoki in the background, and then like a close-up of Okada in the foreground.
Yeah. Another fantastic bout between these two guys. Jay White's working over Okada's core early and often. It's all a build up to the conclusion where they trade finisher attempts, hit each other's finisher. Okada hits like 5 different versions of the Rainmaker. One thing I always appreciate about Okada is every year, seemingly, he'll add something new to his arsenal. A couple of years ago, it was the Money Clip, Cobra Clutch. Now he's got the Cobra Flosion that he used to set up the final Rainmaker. Okada generally regarded as one of, if not the best wrestler in the entire world. It would be easy for him to kind of, all right, I got my arsenal of moves, I'm good. Every year he's added something.
It'd be easy for him not to do, because, man, the times that I've seen Okada go to the top turnbuckle, and fucking dive off of it.
Yeah.
Pretty few and far between. To the floor, pretty few and far between.
Yep.
But he did that in this match. I was kind of shocked at that one.
Yeah, same here. So the finishing sequence, I'll try to get this right. I wrote this down. So Jay's looking for a Blade Runner. He already hit one earlier that Okada kicked out of. Okada tries to elbow out of that. Instead, Jay hits him with a Rainmaker, then another one. Jay does the Rainmaker pose, but then throws up some two sweets at the end. Looks for a Blade Runner. Okada counters that with the Rainmaker. Jay kicks out. So they're trading shots. And Jay is just clobbering Okada with chops. Jay's calling Okada a coward. Says, you're not going to take this from me. So Okada drops Jay with a massive forearm. They're trading strikes. Jay's looking for a Blade Runner. Okada counters with an Enziguri. Jay's looking for another Blade Runner. Okada escapes that, looks for a Rainmaker. Jay blocks that. Okada hits a Blade Runner of his own, follows with the Cobra Flosion, then hits the Rainmaker for the win. At the end of the match, Jay's in the corner. He won't let go of the title. And Red Shoes is over there trying to, not quite tug-of-war type deal, but he's trying to get it from him.
He's pleading with him. Yeah. He's trying to get it from him. He's saying, please, give me the title. Come on, man.
And eventually Jay lets go. Red Shoes takes the belt, puts it around Okada's waist. Gato gets in the ring for a moment with Jay, leaves, and that's when Jay pretty much uses Okada to get to his feet. And is using Okada to hold himself up. And they exchange a couple words. I couldn't hear what they said. Eventually, though, he kind of tumbles out of the ring. Gato helps him out. And then Shingo gets in the ring, challenges Okada to a title bout.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Okada delivers a really emotional promo about hoping, Inoki, could see what they were doing and was proud of the work everybody put in for, at Wrestle Kingdom.
Dude, over the past year, we've seen Jay White do some time in Impact. We've seen Jay White do some time in AEW. There's nothing like Jay White in New Japan. Mm-hmm. There is something about that environment, the way they film it, the way he brings his character, the way the chemistry he has with all the other characters in New Japan. Just, it's so fucking good. And there's so much lost when he goes somewhere else. And granted, I understand that he just sort of goes somewhere else and he's just there for a bit. But like, my God, his character work in New Japan.
It's his relationship with the crowd. It's what really is different.
Oh man, when he first made his entrance, he started flexing on Tanahashi because Tanahashi was in front row. I was dead because that was like their entire feud. Jay White is flexing on Tanahashi, like, look at my abs.
But like before the match starts, Jay's like getting the crowd to chant Okada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he loves toying with the crowd.
Yeah,
and in New Japan is the only place where he does that.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to egg the crowd on, but yet when the commentary is making a point of saying this, he eggs the crowd on, but when they don't give him back what he wants, he gets angry. He gets resentful. And the story down the line of this match, as commentary is putting it, was Jay trying to rattle Okada, but in the process, he rattled himself.
Yeah. Because
Okada, as Rocky said, is like tops when it comes to mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't be rattled.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd love to see Jay White stay in New Japan. I have no idea what his contract is like, but like, man, I don't want to see what he's like in WWE. I don't care about him in AEW or anywhere else. I'd love to see him and Okada just stay in New Japan for the next however many years they're wrestling, probably another 20, 30 years or whatever. But man, he is so damn good there, and it just doesn't translate anywhere else. I mean, it's time in Impact. You and I used to joke, Jay White's here to sell some T-shirts because
he was babyface Jay White.
He was a babyface there, yeah. But I still feel like even if he went babyface in New Japan, there would be something still electric about it, as opposed to him, in Impact or AEW or anywhere else, really.
Yeah.
It's really something special. I did put up a question thread on the Patreon. So we can see if anybody has questions for us. Again, we are not experts.
No.
We are mere New Japan enthusiasts.
Yes.
Luisa Reyes says, if WWE did a similar invasion like Suzuki Gun at New Year's Dash with Nakamura as the leader, who else would you send with Nakamura to New Japan?
I mean, it would be really great is if it were Finn and Nakamura.
That'd be cool, but like I kind of want Like you can send
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Judgment Day with Nakamura, so you get Dom there too.
That'd be amazing. That'd be great. Nakamura. Oh man, you know what would be kind of cool? Like if they acted a little less goofy, but just like Gable and Otis. I know they're totally obviously a comedy act, but if they like healed it up a little bit more, a little less comedy, like Otis in there with some of those New Japan guys, that could be kind of fun.
It could be.
Just trying to think outside the box a little bit. You know, it'd be fun. The Street Profits.
Yeah.
Montez.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be great.
That could be something else.
Nikyle asks, what will Shota's ceiling be in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think
10 years, he's gonna be world champion.
In 10 years, they want him to be main eventing Wrestle Kingdoms every year.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, it all depends on you know him and if his personality can translate and you know that's same as anybody. You know, anybody with a lot of upside, you gotta prove it out. Oh man, Karen says Legado del Fantasma. Ooh.
That'd be great.
That'd be good stuff.
Great.
Let's see here. High Plains Drifter says, will Tony Khan or anyone mention an AEW wrestler won a championship and the WWE lost one? I think on Dynamite they'll probably mention that Kenny won the U.S. title.
I would think so.
I would think so. I don't think they're gonna. I would be kind of well. When is the LA show is this week? Yeah, it's this week.
No, it's next week.
Next week. Yeah. Oh snap! I'm not gonna be there too. We're gonna have to review that on Thursday. Peter Lewin says, what's next for Kenny? Do you think he brings the title to AEW and someone comes to challenge him at a future AEW special / pay-per-view?
Yeah, that person will be Will Ospreay. So yeah, I don't know if he's going to have it on a weekly basis, but when it's time to start telling that story, yeah, I would think he'd have to start bringing that title.
When is AEW going to the UK?
Don't know.
Is that currently on the
for this year? I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Double check. Here, you take the next one.
All right, sure.
Holgen says, where do you see El Desperado going from here? That's a very specific question.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's got to find himself a faction. I mean, that seemed to be the story for all the former Suzuki-gun wrestlers. I'd think, save for Minoru Suzuki himself, I'm guessing that's going to be the story for everybody that used to be in Suzuki-gun. Is where are they going to end up? Are they going to faction up with somebody else? Are they going to remain free agents? I was pretty bummed out that Taichi didn't make it to the final four of the KOPW Rambo, but it did take everybody else eliminating him for him to get out. So
yeah, so they just said it's 2023, but no specifics on that. That'd be something else if Ospreay versus Kenny in the UK for that US title. Oh man, that'd be something pretty neat.
That would be something else.
Yeah. Anyways, that is going to do it for this episode of Going In Raw. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We definitely appreciate you back tonight for our AEW. They're in Seattle tonight.
Yes.
I lost all track of time. I was like, this week, where are they? Yeah, it's today, and they're in Seattle. So it's been a crazy week. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm running on 6 hours of sleep. Till next time.
All right, go take a nap, man.
Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Right now,